Hi everyone. I am just putting you into here. There we go. We're going live today. Okay. And my cat's gonna say hi too. So today we are working on corset patterns. Okay. So we are working on our second corset pattern. I made another one a couple of days ago, and that one there has already been put in onto the paper. So we got to this point during my last live, and this is an entirely new corset pattern that I've already draped. So, ta-da! There we go. So today we are going to be, okay. Oh gosh, own brain. There we go. Okay. Hello everyone. Sorry, I just had to fix something up on the live there. Now, 2 days ago I went on live and I draped an entirely different corset pattern on this mannequin, and I've done an entirely new one this time. This one is going to be used as a integrated corsetry. So I wanted to make this particular design so that you can then create like a whole dress over the top of it. So this is what we're going to be taking the next step. So if you watch the last one, which I also put the entire replay, which is over 3 hours, up onto YouTube, this is going to be the next step. So I've already draped the corset pattern, and I'm going to show you how I take it from this onto a paper pattern. So thank you for joining me. Okay, so here are the couple of things that we need to do. Okay. So we have to make sure that we have the grain lines marked out properly. Put that in, and we've got each of them numbered. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then we have 8, 9, 10, 11. So this is an 11 panel pattern. And so this mannequin, it is an Australian size 14, but I've made the bust a little bit bigger, so it's actually a D cup now. Because I've noticed that a lot of these patterns, they're specifically designed for a smaller bust. And I was like, well, I need one that's just a little bit bigger. And so I decided to go with a D cup this time. There we go. So this is actually, I've designed this to be the kind of pattern where it's to be used on the inside of a dress. So this is going to be like the strength layer. So there we go. This is what we're working with. All right, so 1, 2. So I finished draping this one last night. There's 2. There we go. Thank you for all the hearts. I really appreciate it. Oh my goodness. I wanted to try and keep everybody involved in the corset making process before I do put everything into the course. So 4, and we got 5, so 6. Thank you. Oh my goodness. And 7. And this part here is the lacing. So this is not the center back. The center back is like over here. So we've got about 2.5 centimeters, so about 1 inch away from the center back, and that gives us enough room for lacing and to allow it to just be brought in just a little bit more. So there's the back. So we can see how it sort of swoops down a little bit. That gives us enough room up here in the back, and it just creates like a really nice silhouette right here. And then, so what this is actually going to be, see how we've got this part here of the bust cup? So typically what would happen is that we would need this panel to come all the way up so that the bust cup is connected to this panel of the fabric right here. But what this is going to be, the intersection of a dress, which means I'm actually going to be using rigolene boning for this one. Oh, thank you. Oh, goodness. I didn't realize I could do that. So because this is going to have rigolene boning, we're actually going to have a rigolene bone that goes all the way along the top and then up to here, and then all the way down along to here. So that way, that's going to, even though this is going to be padded, this section, it's going to have enough support to keep it up, because we're not going to have any straps for this one. Okay, so 7, we need 8. Oh goodness. 8. Oh no, my pen died. Oh no, there we go. Back, it's back again. 9. 10. And 11. So there we go. What's a good sewing school? Really depends on where you are. One that is accessible to you, one that is affordable for you, one that you can understand. So before you choose a sewing school, figure out how do you learn best, what is available to you, honestly, and how you're able to access it, really. So I learn from all different places, and that's because I know how I learn best. I learn by watching how other people do it, and I figure out how, like, the purpose behind it, and then I make adjustments and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, if you know how you learn, try to find the school or the information that you're able to understand the best. So so my school, I do have my free sewing essentials. I've got a lot of free resources on my school, and I am having a lot of free access things, but I've also got a lot of paid courses as well. So plus I've got a bunch of tutorials on here as well. So for anything for free, go throughout my entire TikTok account. I've got a huge amount of tutorials there. There's a bunch of other people. YouTube, there's a ton on there as well. Connect up with other sewing people, and just sew, make whatever. If you go into my free sewing essentials course, go into the indie pattern designers section, and you'll find a bunch of really good sewing patterns. I would recommend a couple of beginner sewing patterns for people just starting out from indie pattern designers, because they tend to have much better instructions, and they're able to just be a lot more beginner friendly than a lot of commercial stuff. So I'm just going to go back. I missed a bunch of stuff. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I will be releasing this pattern. So this one is one of 5. I'm currently making a corset making course, and I'm making 5 different corset patterns that have all different uses to it, so that you have a better understanding on not just what corsets are, but what they're used for, and a bunch of different ways. So this is just one of 5. I did the draping for number 2 2 days ago. The replay of that is up on my YouTube. And this is number 3. So Morgan is already available in my store, in in my school. So if you just go through and oh gosh, sorry, my cat's doing silly things. So if you go into my store in the school, you'll see Morgan already, but all of the rest of these will be available after the course is released. Okay. Bum, bum, bum. Yes, I am on YouTube. I've linked it in my bio. Okay, so I don't work with leather. I don't have experience with leather. I do have a friend of mine who actually does work with leather, and she does make some amazing things, but I don't think she makes corsets. Because working with leather is very different to working with fabric, and I don't have the technical know-how for that one, so I can't say yes or no for that one. You might, if you know how to actually work with leather. Definitely. I would love to one day. I'm in the process of moving down to Brisbane, and down there's a really good leather supplier. So I'm thinking about it. Maybe. I don't know. I might. We'll see how it goes. All right. So one will have a zip. Yes. I am in far north Queensland in Australia. So if you think of Australia and you see on the top right hand corner there's a big point on it, I am on the very edge on the right hand side of that point. It's very hot up here. Oh, if it's bunching, yeah, you definitely need to loosen your the tension. You're in Melbourne. I was just in Melbourne a couple of weeks back. I went to the Stray Kids concert. That was so much fun. Best moment. Seal, fur, and leather. Oh, you're Inuit. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. That would be amazing if you can make one with seal fur. All right. Is seal leather, is it as like soft and pliable as what it seems? Because I've never actually seen one that's like cured in the same way as what I've seen like other leathers, the ones that I'm used to seeing, which is like obviously cow and sheep and kangaroo, because we have kangaroo leather down here and it's really, really good to work with. So I'm not sure if you wanted to. Actually, I do have one pattern that might work. It's like very, very soft. Oh, that would be amazing. I am going to be drafting one pattern that I think might work because it has less panels, but it's got a nice, like, it has a nice point to it. So it might. I just don't know how to work with it because obviously I'm in Australia. I'm not familiar with seal leather. That would be amazing. I would love to see something like that. That'd be great. I used to do commission work. I have done lots and lots and lots of commission work in the past. I am not currently doing anything at the moment because I'm in the process of moving down to Brisbane, which is quite a few thousand kilometers away from me. And Northern. Wow. Hi. It's lovely to meet you. I love coming on live and I get to meet people from amazing places all around the world. Hello from Australia. I have done lots of commission work in the past. I do actually talk about it a lot in the previous live that I did. And yeah, I talked a lot about all the things that I've done. You're in Brisbane! Cool! I'll be there next year. I can't wait. It's so hot up here. It is like ridiculously hot for the majority of the year and I just can't do it. I can't do it anymore. I've been up here for 12 and a half years now. I'm done. Anyway, I'm supposed to be doing this. So let me go over a couple of things that you need to know before you take it off. Oh, fantastic. So before we take this off the mannequin, there's a couple of things that we need to do. We need to make sure that the grain lines are in the correct position because we want to make sure that when we cut out this pattern piece, it's going to be exactly the same. Oh, cool. Oh, I'm glad my content helps. Yay. Good luck with that. That's awesome. You keep doing that. Well done. So we're going to be numbering each one. They're each outlined. And also, the one thing that I do to prepare all of the fabric pieces before I take it off is that I actually steam and iron it first because all of these are like, we've still got a bit of the seam allowance a little bit on the edge here because even if the line that I've drawn is not completely straight, at least I know that where it's been pressed down, that is where I need to cut off the excess so that it's as straight as it can be. So I've actually steamed and I've ironed all of these edges here. I had to use my really big iron, but if I had a really small one, that would be so much easier, but I don't have one of those. Okay, so our winters, we like to joke that we have winter for about 2 weeks out of the year, and we're very lucky if it gets below 15 degrees. It actually makes the news if it gets that cold. We really don't have a winter. Nah, not really. It's fun if we actually get to wear a jumper or like a sweater or anything that's warm because we can't. It's just too hot up here. And it's not just the fact that it's too hot, it's just humid. The air up here is very thick. So it's because we are in a very tropical region, not just because of the location, but I'm very close to the oldest rainforest in the world. It's just a few hours north of me. And yeah, it's just really humid, so we don't really get much winter. Oh, wow. You're a Gold Coast. Awesome. I can't wait to move down there. So I'll be sort of in a Brisbane area. Why did I put the cups in it? So this is going to be a part of an integrated course. So this is called integrated corsetry. This is what goes on underneath a dress. So when you see those really structured dresses and they've got the cups on them, or if you really want to have a lot of support without having to wear a bra, this is what you put underneath it. So this is just a corset. So it's got a nice swooped back, got a nice low back. I'm thinking I might actually like straighten that up. Instead of having that be like sort of going up a bit, I'm thinking I might actually just straighten that straight across. You're in the Philippines. I have a friend in the Philippines. Yeah. Hello, if I want to do the shears or see-through bodice, what is the recommended material? So a see-through bodice, what I do for my mesh corsets is that I do, so you can get silk tulle that's really strong. Polyester tulle seems to be a little bit less strong. Ooh, join my team, what is that? Okay. So you can use tulle fabric, but you have to double it up or even put 4 layers in each panel. So for every single panel that you see here, there would be 4 layers of tulle. You can also use a nice soft power mesh fabric, or you can use cotton bobinette or silk bobinette. I just find it really difficult to get my hands on that stuff. So, oh, thank you guys. I keep on seeing these. Oh, thank you. So the muslin that we have in Australia is actually a very, very, very soft fabric that is, it is not something that you'd use in clothing. It's typically used as a filter fabric, as in like filtering like things through. We don't use that kind of muslin. So like the muslin I think you might be referring to is the American style, which we call calico. This is actually like just plain white quilting cotton, and this is what I use in most of my pattern making, because it's a strong, even weave that doesn't stretch in any way, so it allows me to make patterns like this and really easily see where the grain line is and where it needs to be adjusted, and I can easily draw on it too. So this is white quilting cotton. Yeah. Yeah, so yeah, it's a process. And this is how I prepare for my corsets. If I'm making typical clothing, I just do flat pattern drafting. But if I'm making a garment that is really soft and drapey and it just needs to be pinned in a couple of places, then I use a mannequin to drape it. Ow, I just pricked myself with a pin. Ouch. That was silly. Yeah, so, all right, are we ready to turn this into a paper pattern now? Yes? Yeah, that hurt. I did the same thing on my other one and I'm bleeding on my hand. No. Oh well. All right, are we ready to turn this into a paper pattern now? Yes? Let's do it. Okay. I need to get my water. I got my coconut water. Okay, so I like to do top to bottom. All right. The cool thing about this is that this is the reason why I like to drape it. You see how the grain line goes like straight across the top here? And it doesn't have any wrinkles all the way around it, because I made sure that as I was draping this on here, I twisted it all around to make sure that it wasn't going to have any wrinkles all the way down here, all the way up and over like that. So that's the cool thing about being able to drape this, especially this top section of the bust, because we want to make sure it's not going to have any wrinkles, because we don't want this to be buckling while it's being worn, and we don't want it to have like, yeah, anywhere that it's going to like buckle in any way, because we want to have full support here. So there we go. So you can see where the grain line sits. So we've got one grain line going up to the point there, another one coming up to this point, another one coming up here. That allows for the curves right here, but also the support goes directly to this point, and then this one here cups straight over, so that'll help to cup the very top. and it's not going to buckle. So I thought I'd point that out before I take everything off. Okay, lots and lots of pins. Here we go. All right, so here's the top section. Okay. I'm very glad I ironed all of this down because these lines are everywhere. Okay. Number 11. There we go. So then I'll line them all up on my table here. Make sure they're all in the same position, relatively so. There we go. I use so many pins in this. Ooh. Yeah, I'll show you where I started as well when I was drafting out the pattern itself. There we go. So you see, I'll show you how I traced it out. So you see here, this is how I start. I actually have, this is actually just yarn. This is just blue yarn. And I just trace out the outline first, and then I put in all of the seams with, this is just acrylic yarn. And then I put the, so instead of drawing or having anything permanent on here, I like to have the yarn. And then I use that as the markers for all of the seam lines. Okay. All right, let's get this. So I am going to actually straighten that up. I don't want that to be pointing up like that. I want this to be nice and straight. There we go. So you see how I've just changed this so that it's going to go straight across instead of that little point up. And that will make a big difference actually. There we go. Right, let's take this off. There is 7. And 6. Yes, exactly. That's why I really like using the yarn, because I'm able to really feel where it is. So I use dark yarn and white fabric, and then I can really easily see it. Look how many pins I've used so far. I need to take them off. So this thing's usually like completely full. So this is a little magnetic pin holder that I've got. Just take that off, shake it around, and then I put the magnet back on it like that. So this little pin dish, and whoa, there's a lot of pins on here. Get on there. There we go. Oh, yeah. There we go. All right, let's get the rest of these off. So you can see here, the lines along here. So eventually I'm gonna have a rigoline bone that goes all the way along up here, like that. And that'll help to keep this point in place, even though this is gonna be made out of foam and not the fabric like this. So something like this, you can make it out of a bunch of different fabrics, and this one would actually work best with a mesh fabric, and that'll be nice and thin underneath the dress, but still supportive. There we go, there's number 4. Cup of tea break. There we go, next one. Where is it? There it is. All right, there we go. 3. 2. Three, 2, 1. There we go. So this is what I started off with. So you see here, I just created the outline first and went all the way around, saying, yep, this is how far I want it to go. Around. So you can see how it goes up just a little bit, but I've just straightened that out so it's like a nice straight line across there. There we go, like that. And I knew that I wanted the outline to come up here and then over the bust like that, so we've got full support in the bust. And then I just put in the individual seam lines of where they're all going to be. I can do. It's very, to do fabric manipulation, it is time consuming, very creative. I do enjoy doing it when I have the time to, but I don't right now. So I'm just going to teach everyone how to make at least the basics, and then give you the tools to do all the kind of fabric manipulation and see how you go from there. If I'm talking too fast, I'm really sorry. I tend to get, I tend to talk really fast. I'm sorry. And fabric manipulation can take days, if not weeks. I've done quite a few things in the past that has taken me weeks to make because there's so much like pleating and pinning and hand stitching and all that fun stuff. And when I say fun stuff, I mean that very, very sarcastically, facetiously. Oh, thank you. Well, it's exactly what my corset making course is for. It's to help teach you the basics of like understanding how to make at least the undergarments for it. So this is what I started off with. There we go. Let's get rid of these as well. I'll put those in. Where's that one? Is it that? I'm trying to figure out where it is. There it is. Oh, okay, it was that whole thing. All right. That's right. I did the underbust section first, like that. There we go. So I started off with just the underbust, like that. Just the outline, and then I put the cup outline in, and then I put the seams down here. Ta-da! Good old yarn. So there we go. So the special thing about this one is that this is actually going to be cut on the fold. So this whole first panel right here is actually going to be like that big, because I don't want to have a huge amount of like seams and stuff right here, and it's going to have a bone right here in the very center. So this is going to be cut on the fold. And that's kind of how I had to plan everything. So if that's going to be cut on the fold, that means this top section up here is going to be twice as wide, because I need to allow space for that bone right in the very center and for each of these cups to be stitched onto it as well. So that's awesome. You can make pot holders. Good on ya. Well done. You can make something. That's great. Keep going. Make what you want. Make what is useful to you as well. And make things that you enjoy. That's awesome. I'm proud of you. Okay, there's that. Yep. And there we go. We are now back. And no marks left on here. And there we go. And that's how I do my draping, where I'm leaving the least amount of trace of everything that I've done, so that I can just continue draping and draping and draping without causing any permanent marks on her. And everything's just pinned in place. This is what I started off with. So I've got 2 pads here to help give her a little bit more of a bust, because she's typically about a B cup, actually more like an A to B. And then I just wanted to bring it up to about a D cup, which is like there, about like that, like there. And then I've got these hip pads and these extra bum pads. I just needed to like give her a little bit more shape. There we go. That is awesome. So essentially what you're doing, you're learning how to do straight stitches. You're learning how to work with multiple different fabrics. You are making something that is useful as well. And yeah, there's lots of different techniques. So with those, you've also got things like hems. So you're doing the hems on either side. With a pot holder, you might be stitching something inside out and then folding it the right way out. There is so many different techniques that you're learning. That's awesome. There we go. All right. We are now ready to take this pattern and turn it into a actual paper pattern. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be ironing each. Yes, I'll be ironing them all flat, but I will continue to have, say, I'll be pressing these little edges down here. So this is number 1, right? So this is where it's going to be cut on the fold. So it's going to be on the fold. So that's not going to have a seam allowance. But you can see here on the back, I'll be keeping these and I'll be pressing these down. I just need these to be nice and flat. Yeah, so ironing is essentially using the steam, and you're helping to allow the fibers in the fabric to relax, and pressing means that you're using the heat of the iron to press something flat. So ironing, pressing, whatever works. All right. There we go. All right, we now have all of our pins back. So I'm gonna just take this thing off, shake it up, and then this is not actually supposed to come off. It came off, but I find it really useful to help keep all the pins in place. Oh, I got some on the floor. My bad. Hang on. There we go. Whew. Right, now I need to iron these. So I need to get my iron back up and running. All right, I'm gonna have to move you around. I'm so sorry. There we go. Okay. So let's get these ironed. All right, yes, we have water. Oh, I take this. I have a very small space here, so I'm just going to work with what I've got. There we go. Hello. So this pin holder, good question. I think I got this from Birch. I'm pretty sure you can get things like this at, oh, no, I got this one actually from my friend of mine. Her name's Luana. She has a little shop, she has a corset making shop called Vanyanis. And I got this from her years and years ago. Actually, she has another corset making course coming out very, very soon. So she has a beginner's corset making course. I highly recommend you guys go and check out the beginner's corset making course with Vanyanis. She is fantastic. She's actually one of my mentors. I'm teaching it slightly different. Whoa, I nearly knocked over my water. Yeah, so I would highly suggest any absolute beginners to go over there. But yeah, I got that from her, but I reckon if you just type in a search bar, magnetic pin dish, you should be able to find something like that. All right, there we go. So doing it like that helps to keep all of these little pressed edges right there. Yeah, Joanne Fabrics, are they still in business? I've heard a couple of people saying that they're out. I have no idea. There we go. We need them nice and flat so I can draw them. I know it looks like I'm doing a lot of preparation work, but honestly this makes life so much easier when I get to the point of actually drawing out the fabric, drawing out the pattern itself. It helps a lot. Here we go. There we go. Sure, go for it. I'll have a look in a minute. Well, once I'm done here. Like whenever I've seen any kind of like seal skin or something, I always feel like it does it feel like as soft as what it looks like? And just, oh, thank you. It's really interesting. It is, oh gosh. I've seen like a couple of jackets made out of seal skin and I'm just like, ow, they must be so soft. All right, here we go, we are prepared. Come here. All right, sorry, I've got to move you again. Oh, so I am not actually making this for myself. I will be, but this is actually for a corset making course that I'm currently making. So this is number 3 of 5 patterns that I'm making for the course itself. Because for corset making, it covers a huge range of different kinds of corsets, and there's a lot of uses for corsets as well. So I wanted to create a good course that has like all these different kinds of corsets. That's not just corsets, sorry. It's not just like the Victorian style, the stays style, the integrated corsetry that you get in gowns and things like that. So I've got quite a few things that I'm working on at the moment. If you make a Mandalorian armor set using seal skin, I would be on the floor. Holy moly. Yes, please. That would be so cool. I actually have a PDF pattern for the Mandalorian helmet, because I'm a big Star Wars nerd. A Mandalorian helmet, and I really need to make it. I really want to make it, but that's another day. How did I learn to sew? Okay. In the previous live that I did, I had a big talk about where I started, and it's in my free essentials course. I started learning when I was 9. Yes, most of my family, my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mother, who is actually here at the moment, she can probably hear me at the moment, they all taught me, and I constantly kept learning, and I kept studying, and I have mentors. I have a lot of different people that I've learned to sew from. Yeah, I've been in this for a while. So yeah, it's been a long journey, but I'm still loving it, which is great. Ah, my tea's gone cold. No. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to trim off all of this excess so that I have a nice flat line to work with. So I'm cutting right on the fold line that I've just ironed in place. What I might do, before I cut that one off, I'm going to make sure it is absolutely straight, because that is going to be a cut on the fold. There we go. All right. I think probably one of the hardest things about doing all of this is learning to love every step of the process. Learning to be patient with every step as well, because it's rather time consuming. So these are Triumph, I think they're called. I got these from Big W. So these are dressmaking shears. And they're very, very long. They're right-handed, because I am right-handed. I don't add seam allowance onto this. So this is the very basic pattern that I've just draped, taken off my mannequin. And this I use to put down on the paper that I have right here. I'll show you in a minute. And I will trace them out, make sure all of the seams match up with each of the different pattern pieces, and then I'll add seam allowance to it. Yeah. So this is essentially the master pattern right now. So yeah. I have an entire like wall over there that's just full of scissors, and this is my favorite dressmaking shears, the Triumph brand. I need a stool. Ooh, my pen's down there. That's where it went. I love my pen. Oh, there we go. Okay. Ow, I just hit my knee. That was silly. Okay, there we go. So I'll show you what I'm doing right here. I know that's a great angle. Oh my goodness. That's awesome. With your crochet pieces into your normal sewing patterns. That's a great idea. I've seen quite a few people do that actually. That sounds brilliant. So I know it looks like it's taking me a really long time to do this, but I do this because I learned how to fix the mistakes before they happen. And I found when I was going too fast, I would end up making too many mistakes and I'd have to go back and fix it. And that's like, if I do it a certain way at the beginning, that prevents a lot of the issues from happening in the future. So that's why I'm taking my time with all of these pieces. And yeah, I found it really helps to prevent any issues in the future. But a lot of people like to skip these steps. And I'm like, no, if you do these steps now, you'll find things so much easier later on. And you end up with a final piece that it looks better too. It is better. There's a lot of things that I see at the end of a sewing project, and it just goes, wow, that just didn't turn out the way that I hoped it would, or it doesn't look the way I hoped it would. That's because you skipped a lot of steps throughout the entire process. And you missed a few things that just add that little bit of extra wowness to it. That's probably the best way I can say it. I made the mistake a couple of days ago to not have a drink of water on me while I was on live. Okay, I have to promote myself a little bit here because I have an entire section in my free sewing course on how to read commercial sewing patterns or how to read regular patterns. If you want to go through that, that will absolutely help you. It's got all the notations in there, basic instructions, the construction process. That's why I always point people towards that free course, because I've literally got I've put all the answers in there, I swear. You're welcome. But yeah, I'm usually here to answer questions. This is my main social media that I'm on, so I'm usually here. dropping pieces on the floor. There we go. Much better. Oy, oy, oy. Good luck with that. Say good night. Mine still needs to get up from his bed. He's a very late sleeper. Because I think for me it's like 11:30ish, midday, I don't know. Thank you. I just got an email about the seal skin that we were talking about. I'll have to check that out. Okay. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. I guess one of the good things about going through this entire process as well is that I end up with a master pattern that's good quality still, which is this one. I end up with a paper pattern that I can use over and over again, and I'll also be digitizing all of these as well, so, and grading them and having them up in the store as well. So I am currently making number 3 of 5 corset patterns for my corset making course coming up. I did the second one 2 days ago. The first one I made a long time ago and it's already up in my store. But I have a corset making course coming up because I have a lot of people asking me how to make all different kinds of corsets for different uses. And I was like, okay, well, let's just go over all things corsetry. Thank you, I just saw that. I just saw it come through, thank you. So anyway, as I was like going through trying to figure out what kind of corsets I wanted to teach people how to make, because there's so many out there, and there's a big thing about the stays style corset, which is like, it's kind of like, it looks a bit like a triangle here, and got the straps on it. That's a stays style, whereas a couple of years ago there was the Victorian style that was really big. People are also learning about the integrated corsetry and things like that. So I'm making 5 different patterns that are all different styles. Hi. my son has finally arrived. He's awake. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a course that covers all of these things. And ooh, that way. Yep, that one. And so I got to the point where I've got Morgan, which is the overbust, typical overbust corset. I have May, which is a long line underbust. So it goes from here and goes down to like mid hip. And that's what we did the pattern making for 2 days ago. So that one's up on my YouTube. And this one here is Adeline. She is the, she's an overbust. So she goes from the waist and then up over the bust. And this is the one that goes into gowns and things. So this is like for integrated corsetry. So we're going to be covering lots of topics in this course, but I wanted to take everyone through the process of me actually making all of the patterns and stuff, because this typically isn't going to be part of the course itself. We're going to be making everything, like how to actually go through the last part and end up with actual corsets, and you guys will be able to use these patterns for future projects. And I'll have the patterns themselves available in my shop once the course is out. There we go. Almost done this part. Ooh, for rotary cutters, I do have a couple of rotary cutters. You can use them if you wanted to. I just find this, I like to use like the tip of my scissors and just go in and use this top section. And also because I've got a really, I've pressed down this little corner here, which means I can just sort of hold it down on the edge like that. And I can cut directly on that edge. So sometimes a rotary cutter isn't also very good for like very intricate curves. So yeah, I prefer to use the rotary cutter when I've got like long straight lines or just not too big curves. But for intricate stuff like this, yes, I definitely use scissors. Tell you one thing I love, instead of using my rotary cutter for like the big straight curves and things, I just use my, I've got this electric rotary cutter. It is the best thing I ever bought. I love it so much. I was doing a commission about a year or so ago, and it was a lot of straight cuts, and I had to cut out a lot of fabric because I was making a lot of things. over and over again. And my electric rotary cutter saved me days of work. It was so good. Electric, yes. My electric rotary cutter. I'll grab it out in a second. Just give me a second. Hi, Leo. My cat's saying hi. Seeing all the other people in the family get up. Nah, they're easy. Down to there, that's right, yep. I'll grab my rotary cutters out in a minute. What's your favorite sewing machine and why do you sew? Okay, I sew on this one. This is my industrial sewing machine. And, it's a Juki 9000B and I will be buried with that thing. I love it so much. It can handle just about anything. Well, fabric wise, I've made entire collections on it and yeah, she's fantastic. I love her. So that is my favorite. That's Juki. And yeah, she can do just about anything because I've got a lot of attachments for her, and she's able to handle all different kinds of stitches and things. Although she's just a straight stitch. She doesn't do like zigzag or anything like that. She's just a pure straight stitch. So I just found that the more I'm sewing, the more I'm just using a straight stitch. Like I can make an entire corset on her. There we go. Finally done. All right, I'll show you my rotary cutter. So give me one sec. Okay. So I have 3 rotary cutters. Actually, 4 technically. So I use this one here. Typically, it has little blade that comes out there. Click it back in. This is really cool. I do like this one. This one here really comes in handy. And then this is one of my older ones, but I'm not a fan of it because I have to. Look, there it is. I have to hold it out all the time in order for the blade to come out. It was just really annoying. Although no, hang on, I can hold that and then click that over and then it stays out. And then I just press it in. It's okay, but the blades get dull really quickly. And then I have this little tiny one here that I use for like, it's a little thing on it. And I use this for like the more intricate curves and stuff. But I don't typically use them very much. They go blunt way too quickly. They're very good cut though. This is my favorite thing I've probably ever bought. Well, yeah, mostly. This is my electric rotary cutter. This one. So cool. This was about $80, I think, on Amazon. And you see how the rotary cutter, it's not entirely round. It's actually got these little curves. It's what is it? 2, 3. It's an octagon, I think. It's an octagon? Yeah, it's an octagon. So like that. So in order to make it work, you got to press this button to activate it. See the little thing there? And you just hold this down and it goes. That's so cool. So it's got this little thing that runs along the table and the fabric goes up into here and then you press that down and run it straight across. I love this thing. This is fantastic. I love it so much. It's also really easy to swap out the blade as well. Amazon, just get it from Amazon. It's really, really cool. This is the Loxo, Vloxo. I know it's backwards, I'm really sorry. But yeah, it's just charged with USB-C right there. I love it. So it stays activated for a little while, but if you're not using it after a little while, it'll turn off and you just got to press the button again. There you go. And it comes with this little bag, and it's got the USB charging cable, and it has a little thing there that you can use to change out the blade in there. Huh?
Allen key.
It's an Allen key. Thank you, Mother. It's an Allen key that has a little screwdriver Phillips head thing on the end of it too. So yeah, I'm not good with words. I never have been. What is it? You've just joined. Okay, we are talking about rotary cutters. So in sewing, we've got the typical rotary cutter just like this, and it's got a little thing, and then you push it out so you can use it like that. And then there's a little button here that you can bring it back in again. So this is really good if you've got like a long straight line with a couple of different layers of fabric, and you can push it in, and then you use one of these. This is a self-healing mat, and this helps to prevent this from going too blunt too quickly, because these are really, really sharp. I'm going to use this underneath here in a minute. Oh, hang on. I need to fix up my live because I've been live for too long, apparently. There we go. All right, so this thing is really cool. So I fold this up. There we go. And then we've got, this is one of my older ones. Ta-da! So just found those streams are being noisy. That's all good. So this is one of my oldest ones. I think this is probably my first one. And you gotta sort of lock it into place. There we go. So this is a little bit clunky, this one. These are both the Fiskars brand. And, I have no idea what that is, but this is a smaller one that I use for the little cuts and stuff. But I'm not really a fan of using these all the time. But this is my electric cutter. And I use this for cutting out like much big, thick fabrics as well. So when I do my corset making course and I'm cutting out all of the couture fabric, which hurts my hands to cut. Even like I can cut the couture with this, it hurts my hands so much. So I'm actually going to be using this to cut out most of the pieces. For the intricate details, yes, I'll have to use my scissors, but this is what I'm using to cut it out with. I am so glad I have this. It's so great. Yeah, keep asking questions. There's no such thing as a silly question. Go for it. There we go. So rotary cutters are amazing, but yeah, just add it to your toolbox. All right. Whew. So now what I'm doing is I am laying out all of these pattern pieces right here, and I'm going to be drawing them all out here and creating the paper pattern for them. So you can see how this is essentially laid it out in the way that it needs to be sort of stitched together. All right, so number one, we've got to know the construction technique, right? So as I'm doing all of this, I have to know like every step of the process. So if I know that I am going to be putting just a center bone right down the very front, that means I'm going to be having this center front panel be a cut on the fold. So this is essentially going to be one piece of fabric that's twice this width, because I don't want too much stitching right here in the front. So I'm just going to have a bone in the front, and this will be a cut on the fold. So I don't need a seam allowance on this side. The rest of them, I'm only going to be putting in a 1 centimeter seam allowance, because that will give us enough to create a just a very small seam that I can then put an external or even an internal. Actually, no, I think I'll do an external sewing, an external boning channel. I'll get the words eventually. An external boning channel, and I'll be putting that on top of the seam allowance. So in doing that, that means I only need a fairly small seam allowance. So it's only going to be 1 centimeter or 12 millimeters, around about that. So in knowing that, it gives me the chance to sort of plan out how I'm going to lay out this entire pattern. Now, when it comes to the bust cups, the bust cup's going to be a little bit different, because I'm actually going to be putting a 1 centimeter or a 15 mil. No, I think I'll go about, I'll go 1 centimeter. I'll still go 1 centimeter, But I actually need to make 2 separate pattern pieces for the bust cups, because I'm going to make pattern pieces for the foam and then another pattern piece for the fabric. And I'm going to be having a lining on the foam as well as an outer section of the fabric as well. So for the bottom section of the bust cups, which is these 3 right here, these need to have a seam allowance on the bottom section of the foam. I will get my words out eventually, I swear. So the foam needs to have a seam allowance on the bottom, but not on the sides or on the top or anything, because it's all going to be zigzag stitched together. But the foam still needs to be attached to the body of the corset. So in knowing all of this, that helps me to plan out how I'm going to be drawing all of these. Whew. All right, so I have my pencil like that, and let's gonna start drawing this out. So comments, give me just 1 second. I will set up this a little bit differently so that I can see your comments a bit easier and you'll be able to see a little bit better. So just give me 1 second. How much battery you got? None at all. Oh my goodness. Okay. So I'm gonna put you up here on the bigger one. It just makes a little bit of noise, I'm sorry. Ta-da. Oh goodness, don't do that please. Okay. You see okay? Awesome. Okay. So I've got those. I'm going to be swiping over. Ah. No, go away. I'm so sorry. I'm fiddling around trying to find that. There we go. Okay, I can see a little bit better now. Hopefully you're able to see better. Okay, so we've got pencil and I have, so this is just a little ruler that I use. And this is just a 15 centimeter ruler or a 6-inch ruler. So I've got inches on one side, centimeters on the other, but I work with centimeters. So I'm going to use that. So over here. And I'm just going to freehand it. So I'm just going to try and go as close to that edge as possible. Sorry if you're seeing the top of my head, I'm sorry. All right. So I'm just freehanding it now, but I will be neatening it up later. I'll get the ruler out and I'll neaten it all up. At least with that, I can use the ruler there because that is a straight line. Okay. All right, so as I'm doing each of these, I have to make sure to transfer over the grain line as exactly as what it is on the fabric. So I put the little ruler down on one side, I bring another ruler up underneath, and then I match up the grain line to make sure it is exactly the same. Yep. Here we go, and I hold it down, then I move the fabric away. There we go, grain line. Done, done, done. And then I put the cut on fold line right there. There we go. This is why knowing how to put the notations onto sewing patterns really helps to like draw everything exactly the way that you need. So that's everything all traced out. Next thing to do is to actually use a ruler and just neaten it up slightly. That's after you've done all of the pieces. So I neaten up all the lines here and then I measure each of them out. So I measure every single line around all of these pattern pieces to make sure that it's all going to match up. The seam lines are going to match up with each pattern piece. There we go. Whew. All right, so there is number one. Oh my goodness. There we go. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but there is number one right here for number one pattern piece. And I'm going to go along and I'm going to do all the rest. Okay, hopefully that's going to work. So I'm going to leave quite a bit of space in between each one so that I've got enough space to shift them around if I need to, and do seam allowances, all that fun stuff. I'm going to turn up Lo-Fi Girl just to give me a second. There we go. So that's Lo-Fi Girl in the background, by the way. Oh, I didn't hit my knee that time, yay. Okay. There we go, number two. So essentially it's just tracing it out. So once you've got this paper pattern, we're just going to trace it out on here. Ta-da! So I have one, I have two, done. There we go. Now where's three? So you see how I do, when I draw the grain line, I have the grain line going all the way along this pattern piece. It really helps to do the grain line in the final one so that all I have to do is just line up the ruler on the top and the bottom of the pattern piece, right where that grain line is. And that really helps to get it like perfectly straight on here. This is a corset making course, so no, I won't be making any pants. I do have a pattern making course up on my school called Your Custom Pattern Library, which I teach people how to make pattern blocks and then turn them into sewing patterns. So I do a bodice, sleeve, skirt, and pant. So I've already done it. He's been yelling all morning. He's good. He's been making himself well known, as per usual. 4. There we go. No. Silly thing. Okay. Getting through it. It's a slow process, but it's necessary. Okay. Mum's got a cough. Hey, Mum.
Yeah.
Do you feel comfortable talking at all? Not like being on camera or anything, but do you feel comfortable talking? How did you feel when I kept stealing your sewing machine to take it to school all the time?
Oh, I was very happy with you.
You were? See, she was happy. She was happy that I kept stealing her thing.
That you had passion.
Aw, thanks, Mama. She was happy. Yeah, I sent him a text message to say that I was about to. Okay, give me one sec. One second.
More than a second.
Hilarious. All right. Okay. Okay. I'll show you a little tool. Oh, ow. Okay. There we go. All right, so when you want to trace anything down and having to hold the pattern down, sorry, I know it's a bit noisy. So if you don't want to have to hold the pattern down, one thing you can do is just use a piece of like very light sticky tape and sticky tape the paper or the pattern down onto the paper. Just one that's not going to really, it's going to be easy to come up. So I found the sticky tape that is a matte kind of one. It looks invisible when you put it down. That one tends to come up pretty easily. And then you just sort of use that to sticky tape it down. And then you get one of these little tracing tools like that. And you just go around the edge like that. Sort of like that. And it leaves little pinpricks in the paper. If you press it down hard enough, it does. The Scotch brand, yes. Or Cello, I think it is. So Cello or Scotch brand, yeah. So the matte one, because it it doesn't have, it's not as strong as adhesive, but it will hold it down well enough. So if you want to sticky tape it down to hold it down, so you put like a little circle, you put in like a little circle and put it onto the back in like 2 separate spots, just hold it down, and then you trace around it with one of these little tracing wheels. So it looks like that. There we go. This is a little El Cheapo one. It's not the greatest, but it works. I don't really use it very much. Yeah, and then just go from there. And then you just, it goes through the fabric as well. So you just roll it through for the grain line. That way you're able to do that as well. I know a lot of people, especially who have like hypermobility as well, with issues with your hands, you can actually get these little ring things that it's kind of like, it's a metal ring that sort of wraps around your finger, and it helps to keep your fingers in place so that you can still bend it slightly, but it's not going to hyperextend. But it holds your fingers in place to help you use your hands a little bit better. What else is there? I'm not sure. There's a lot of options out there. Honestly, go through TikTok and just looking up mobility aid, like hand mobility aids or sewing tools. I know there's so many people out there who have found all these different kinds of aids to be able to help them do their sewing or something, just, and they've like been really like ingenious with it. There's so many different tools out there that are available. Yeah, so I find them a lot as well, because I'm trying to find things to make it more like accessible for myself as well. Okay. Oh, my wrist is all crunchy. Oh, that's weird. All right, so I've got one more to do here. Yay, there we go. You can photocopy it. I'd never thought of that. That's a brilliant idea. Yeah, absolutely. If they're not too big, and it can fit in a photocopier, like a scanner, that's a brilliant idea. Yeah, I could probably do that with that. I want to try that now. Can I do that? Can you give me like 1 minute? I want to test something out. You give me a great idea. Okay, I'm going to try it with these bus cups, so give me 1 sec. I'm using my printer and scanning it and seeing if I can copy it. I've never done that before. Okay, so I've done the base section right here. I know, I have made so many corsets in the past and I'm like, why didn't I think of that, or why has nobody told me that? Now that I know, I'm going to photocopy my pieces. That's brilliant. It's going to make it a lot easier when I have to digitize them as well. Here we go. probably too white, but we'll see. Oh my goodness. I'm gonna have to make it darker somehow. What? I should have drawn it darker on here, but it works. Look at that. Thank you for that idea. That is brilliant. Okay, let me just see if it matches up. Oh, look at that. Exactly matches up. That is brilliant. You love my throat. Oh, thank you. It's actually a full chest tattoo. It's it goes like all the way across. Yeah, it's a big moth. Thank you. I love it. I just love being able to show like this top little part all the time though. It's really cool. So that's extra cool to be able to do that. Why haven't I been doing that this whole time? This whole time! Ah! This is the skull head death moth. And I've got a little thing around there and I've got a little bit more down there as well. So it goes all the way along. It's pretty accurate too. So, hang on, let me show you. So yes, it's pretty accurate. Here we go. So, yeah. I don't do that kind of content. I'm just showing you my tattoo. I was asked. I'm not that scandalous. Thank you. That is my goal in life, to be a badass sewing teacher. I now have a title. I'm going to put that on my bio. I'm a badass sewing teacher. Thank you. I don't know what I'm going to do now. Because like, I'm like, that just like saved me like an hour of time. But I didn't photocopy them with enough space around it so I can put seam allowances and I've got to do it again. All right. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to do it again and actually do it properly this time. I was just doing it for fun last time. All right, I'm actually going to do it properly. I wonder if I can make it slightly darker though. There we go. All right, I'm doing it again this time, so it's a little bit more spaced out a little bit better because it just wasn't spaced out properly. I needed a bit more space between here so I can put the seam allowances in. Yeah. Thanks. I'm hardly a genius. Definitely not. All right. Oh, printer is not working. Come on. Here we go. Alright, that's a bit better. A little bit better. Oh, no, it's not. It's down too low. Oh, no, it's not working. It's not working. Okay, it's... My printer is not dark enough and it didn't... Why is it really pixely? Okay, so what I'm going to do next time is that I am going to do this in a darker fabric and outline it a lot better. Yeah, I can't do it this time. No, I'll do it next time though. Thank you so much. Of course I see every imperfection. I see it in minute detail. we see it in so much detail. We always see all the issues with it, but yeah, it's fun. Get back on there. There we go. Okay, I'm actually going to do it this way. Hang on. They're all bouncing around. That is brilliant, by the way, but I'm going to prepare the fabric a little bit differently next time. Instead of using a white fabric, I'll use a slightly different color fabric, and I'll outline it really, really well. So that way, when I copy it, I'll be able to see it a lot better. But yeah, thank you so much. You have literally saved me future projects. For now, I will do this. Okay, that one goes that way. Yep, that way. There is a never-ending process of learning. I love being able to learn new things. I love sharing knowledge. I feel like we all need to keep sharing all of our knowledge as much as we can. And we never ever stop learning. It's a very sad day when we stop learning something. Okay. That. There we go. Ah! This thing keeps breaking. I'm not pressing that hard on it. Okay, 8 is done. There's 9. And I'll be keeping this pattern consistent anyway, so keeping it all in the brown pattern, and I won't lose any pieces in the future like I've done before. Ah, don't get it twisted. There you go. Fine. Almost there, almost there. So 8, 9, and 10. Here is 11. Oh, my shoulder just popped. Done. So, all right, I'm gonna move you up here. Oh, I'm not finished the live yet. I'm getting there. Still on live. I just finished drawing out the pattern. Okay, sorry about that, guys. Here is the drawn out pattern. Hopefully you can see it. I know it's pencil on brown paper, but this is, sorry, I'm trying to stop it. There we go. So I have all the paper pattern pieces drawn out. I just need to measure all of the seams all the way around and make sure that they match up from pattern piece to pattern piece. Put all the correct seam allowances on, and then we will be ready to cut this out and then make the garment. So there you go, everyone. I'm actually going to put you back on what you guys were on before. It's a lot more stable. So sorry. I'm so sorry. I know. Oy. There we go. All right. That's better. Oh, goodness. We're a lot more stable now. So, finally, that's the process of tracing out all of these. So we have the original draped pattern, which is definitely what we keep. We don't chuck these away. Actually, I need to trace out the other one again because I need to make the foam pattern and then the fabric pattern. So what I've just made is for the fabric, and now I have to make the pattern for the foam pieces. Okay, see this roll right here? This is a roll of calico fabric. I think in America it's called muslin. It's a fairly thick, it's about 180 GSM. So this is called calico, and this is what I use for my mock-ups. I got this massive roll of 20 meters because they were having this really big sale, and I was able to get it for half price, which was awesome. Yeah, so the draping fabric is just like a cotton, what's it called? It's like a quilting fabric. Yeah, you can get much thinner calico. This is actually probably calico as well, but it's like bleached calico. But it's just a very plain weave fabric. It probably is actually calico. I don't know. But yeah, this is a type of calico. It's very, very thin. That's a much thicker version of the calico. So if you look at the thing called GSM, grams per square meter, it's how heavy it is and how thick and how like heavyweight. So this is a much more lightweight fabric, and that's a much more heavyweight fabric. So, but it's all cotton, it's all no stretch, nothing like that, so that it's perfect for making like the draping, doing draping for structured garments and for mock-ups. Yeah. So like your calico is probably very similar to what our muslin is. Muslin here is very, very thin. It's the kind of stuff that people would like filter like homemade cheeses and stuff like that. Yeah, so essentially if you get the word muslin and the word calico and swap them over, that's pretty much what we have in Australia. Pardon me. Okay, I just realized I gotta do this again. Okay. Oh, that's right. I also did the measurements for the underbust because we're going to need a wire, like an underwire for this one. And I looked at my supplier last night to try and figure out what size underwire we're going to need for this one, and so that I can grade it for all the different sizes and give a recommendation for the kind of the size underwire that they'll need to order when they want to make it. So this one here is a 14D. So I'm working with a D cup. I was hoping that would be a little bit more easier to grade up and down instead of starting at like a B cup, which is I think typical standard sizing usually starts at. For when they make all of their patterns, they start with a B cup and then they just expand it from there. So at first, yes, to get these patterns, they will be available as part of the course. But after the course is out, I will be making just the patterns themselves available in my shop. You can already get one of them, which is the Morgan pattern. That's already available in my store. Yes. It just doesn't have any instructions to go with it because it's part of this course as well. So I'm just trying to make them available as I get them done. So I've got, so in the end, once you finish with this, so this is what I did 2 days ago. So we've got the draping pattern, draped pattern, and this is May, the other corset. This is the long line underbust. This is all the pattern pieces like that. So that's essentially what they're going to look at. So in the end, this is what they'll look like for me once I'm finished with all of this, and then I'll digitize them later. That's a much longer process that I'll probably do in the wee hours of the night. Right, I will do this first before I start truing up any of the seams. So this is for the foam pieces. At least for the foam pieces, I don't need to put the grain line on it. Oh no, I probably should. I'll just do it anyway, just in case. It's always better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. F for foam. there's 11 pattern pieces right there. All right, I sketched it all out for the fabric and for the foam. Whew, I'm gonna take a break now. Okay, there we go. Give my hands a bit of a break. Thank you so much. It was going through the steps of draping a corset and turning it into a paper pattern. It's a lot of fun. I tend to lose my voice if I'm talking on here. Thank you. It is a lot of fun, but it is a lot of work. I just found I have to go through all of these steps in order to create like a really nice, good quality pattern. And yeah, the more steps I do here, the easier it is for me to be able to sew the rest of the entire garment. It's just, if the pattern works, then the rest of it should be a lot better. I really want my tea, but it's cold. Yeah, lots and lots of mock-ups. It's one of the reasons I wanted to learn more about pattern making, because I found that if I had put things into the pattern at the very beginning, I wouldn't have to make so many mock-ups. And it's why I like to work with pattern blocks first, so that I know that the fit is already in the pattern before I actually make it. So the pattern blocks I know are going to fit like myself or my clients or anybody that I'm making patterns for or making garments for. If I know that the pattern that I'm making is going to work well with their like body shape and their proportions, then it makes life so much easier when it comes to fitting anything. Right. The next step is really tedious. It is just measuring everything, literally measuring every single line that I've just done, making sure it matches up to the millimeter. I like to have at least about a 2 millimeter like adjustment. Like if there's 2 millimeters difference, that's fine. But if there's anything more than that, I like to make some adjustments to make sure it's going to match up, because more often than not, like within 2 millimeters, the fabric will be adjusted enough. It'll be fine. So yeah, that is the next step. It is to put seam allowances on here and cut it out. And when I cut it out, I don't use a pair of scissors for that one. Actually, I use, if I can find where I put it, there it is. So I've got these little Fiskars little blades, and I use these with the self-healing mat underneath it, and I just cut out all the pieces. So that is what I'll be doing. I hope you guys have enjoyed today. It's not quite as long as it was a few days ago, but I will be putting this recording up onto YouTube as well. So if you are watching it in the future, hello, I hope you enjoyed. But thank you so much for joining me. I hope you guys enjoyed. Maybe you learned something new about pattern making and draping and this entire process. And check out my Corset Making course coming very soon. Bye everyone.